Yo, I'm back with another reaction video. Yes, a reaction video. The ones we love oh so much. And today we got what happens to school shooters in prison. School shooters. First of all, my opinion, school shooters shouldn't even make it to prison. Prison shouldn't even be an option. That's just the way I feel. That's the way I feel. I don't think, come on man, you taking out kids. Even if it's kids taking out kids, we still losing these babies out here. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. School shooters should not go to prison. It's only one place for them. All right, man, let's get into it. Hope y'all having a good day. Hope you're having a good week. Hopefully you have an even better day or night after this video. Let's get it cracking. Scott Pennington.
Scott Pennington, a 17-year-old senior at East Central High School in Hurley, Mississippi, carried out a devastating shooting on January 11th, 1995. He killed 2 students and wounded 7 others using a .38 caliber revolver. Pennington's trial was highly emotional and intense, with the families of the victims demanding justice. He was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without parole. Scott Pennington's life behind bars has been a never-ending struggle for survival. He was taken to the Kentucky State Penitentiary in Eddyville. Before long, he became a target for violence and harassment from fellow inmates, but he isn't the kind of person to back down from a fight. In 2014, Pennington's situation took a turn for the worse. He was involved in a violent altercation with a contract food service employee at the prison, resulting in his placement in isolation. The isolation unit, meant to protect him from other inmates, became a source of psychological torment. He spent 23 hours a day in a small cell. The isolation took a devastating toll on Pennington's mental health. He began experiencing hallucinations, depression, and anxiety, and contemplated suicide multiple times. Solitary confinement is common for school shooters, as you will see in our next entry. Chad Padilla. Chad Padilla, a 16-year-old student at Italy High School in Italy, Texas, carried out a shocking shooting on January 22, 2018. He opened fire in the school cafeteria, shooting 1 student 6 times. The injured student survived, but the emotional scars left by the incident would take much longer to heal. Padilla was sentenced to prison, where he faced the consequences of his actions. Chad Padilla's life in prison was marked by violence, uncertainty, and tragedy. As a school shooter, he was a target for aggression and hostility from fellow inmates. He faced numerous threats and attacks, making his existence behind bars a daily struggle for survival. Despite the measures put in place to keep him safe, Padilla continued to face harassment and intimidation from other inmates. He was subjected to verbal abuse, physical threats, and even assaults. The constant stress and fear took a toll on his mental health, and he struggled with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. One day, he was found dead in his prison cell under circumstances that remain mysterious and controversial. The exact cause of death remains unknown, sparking ongoing speculation and investigation. Our next entry did not show.
Hey, I wouldn't classify, well, he's still a school shooter because technically he shot at school, but I'm pretty sure if he shot one person 6 times, that's probably somebody who he had beef with. So I wouldn't, yeah, technically it's still a school shooter, but it's more to that. It's more to that that we probably don't know. He found dead, and they said that they really don't know how, how that happened. They, trust me, everybody there know. Everybody there know. The guards know, everybody, because once you're labeled a school shooter, you might as well be just like a chomo. Everybody gonna hate you. Everybody gonna hate you. Trust me, they know.
Remorse and would continue to act violent in prison. Luke Woodham. Luke Woodham's rampage at Pearl High School in 1997 was an unpredictable incident.
Do all school shooters gotta wear these glasses? It's like if you see somebody wearing like these thick, old school frames, just classify them as a school shooter. Stereotype, yep, it makes sense. All serial killers, I feel like, wear glasses. Just those old school glasses. They just weird. Like, if you know, you know. I ain't the only person that think that.
That fateful day, Woodham, then 16, killed his mother, Mary, by bludgeoning her at their home before heading to school with a rifle. He opened fire in the hallway, killing 2 students, Kentrell McRae and Lydia Dew, and wounding 7 others. Luke Woodham's life in prison has been hard. He is currently serving his sentence at the Mississippi State Penitentiary, also known as Parchman Farm. In 2000, Woodham was assaulted by another inmate, resulting in injuries to his face and head. This incident led to his transfer to a solitary confinement unit. Woodham's time in solitary confinement has been marked by psychological struggles. He has also experienced physical health problems, including chronic pain and digestive issues. Despite his isolation, Woodham has been able to pursue his education, earning a GED and taking college courses through a correspondence program. He has also received counseling and therapy to address his mental health issues. In 2019, Woodham's lawyers filed a lawsuit against the Mississippi Department of Corrections, alleging that his prolonged solitary confinement constituted cruel and unusual punishment. The lawsuit was settled out of court, with Woodham being transferred to the South Mississippi Correctional Institution. His story is unsettling, but pales in comparison to that of a next 12-year-old school shooter.
How do you sue for cruel and unusual punishment? As a school shooter, somebody that took countless lives, you got your life. There's nothing cruel about that. The lawyer should be ashamed of himself for like even taking that case. Like, no, that's not cruel. Like, maybe am I missing something? If you take that many people's lives, especially kids, children, you don't deserve to get rights. You don't get a chance to get rights. And another thing, this might be a dumb question, I don't know. But if you're doing life in prison, what's the point of getting a GED? What's the point? You're never gonna get out to use it. Like, what is the point? Is there some type, it's like, what is the benefit of it? Help me understand, I don't get it.
Nicholas Cruz. Nicholas Cruz, born on September 24, 1998, is one of the most notorious school shooters in recent history. On February 14, 2018, he perpetrated the devastating massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, killing 17 people and injuring 17 others. In 2022, Cruz was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Cruz's journey through the criminal justice system has been a tumultuous one. Since his transfer to a maximum security facility, Cruz's life has become even more isolated. He spends most of his time in solitary confinement, with only 1 hour daily for exercise and limited interaction with other prisoners. Prior to the shooting, Cruz had behavioral issues and was a member of the Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps and the school's varsity air rifle team. He was a student at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, the very place where he would eventually carry out the tragic attack. Cruz's mental health has been a significant concern throughout his incarceration. He struggled with depression, anxiety, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which have been exacerbated by his isolation and the constant threat of violence. He's been placed on suicide watch multiple times, and his struggles continue to this day. Charles Andy Williams. Charles Andy Williams, a 15-year-old student at Santana High School in Santee, California, carried out a devastating school shooting on March 5, 2001. Williams, who was reportedly tired of being bullied, killed 2 students, Brian Zucker and Randy Gordon, and injured 13 others. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, Williams had attempted to seek help from a school counselor, but was told to return to class due to a full office. He told a school security guard that he was going to bring a gun to campus, but these claims have not been substantiated by evidence. On the day of the shooting, Williams brought an 8-shot 22 caliber Arminius HW7 revolver to school and began firing in the hallway and courtyard. The shooting lasted approximately 15 minutes, with Williams firing multiple shots before being subdued by a school security guard. Williams was arrested and later sentenced to 50 years to life in prison. According to reports, Williams has been serving his sentence at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego, California. While in prison, Williams has been involved in several altercations with other inmates and has spent time in solitary confinement. He was denied parole in 2006 and 2019 and was involved in a fight with another inmate in 2011. Williams' family was part of the problem, much like our next school shooter, Robert Gladden. Robert Gladden Jr. was a student at Perry Hall High School in Baltimore County, Maryland, who carried out a shooting on the first day of school in 2012. On August 27, 2012, Gladden, then 15 years old, brought a shotgun to school and shot and wounded a classmate, Daniel Borowy, in the cafeteria. Borowy, a 17-year-old special education student, was critically injured but survived. Gladden was arrested and charged with attempted murder and other related offenses. In 2013, he pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 35 years in prison, with all but 20 years suspended. This meant that Gladden would serve at least 20 years in prison, with the possibility of parole. Gladden's life in prison is highly structured and monitored, with a focus on rehabilitation and preparing him for eventual release. He has been behind bars since 2012, when he was just 15 years old. He has received psychological treatment and counseling to address his mental health issues, including depression and anxiety. He has also participated in educational programs, vocational training, and counseling sessions to address his behavioral issues and prepare him for re-entry into society. However, his privileges are limited, including restricted access to recreational activities, phone calls, and visitation. He has spent periods in solitary confinement as punishment for disciplinary infractions. TJ Lane.
You shoot a special ed person. You shoot a special ed person. Those are the people that usually get passes. At school, nobody really bothered the special ed people. If anything, you embrace those kids. You embrace those kids. So if you really want to hurt a special ed person, then you got deeper issues. It's something mentally wrong with you if you want to hurt a special ed person. Those are the kids that you bring in. You want to make them feel included. Y'all about to let this dude out. Y'all gonna let him out. 20 years, he'll be out. The system is failing. It's failing.
TJ Lane's rampage at Chardon High School lasted just over a minute, but its impact will be felt forever. On that fateful day, Lane, then 17, pulled out a .22 caliber pistol and fired 10 shots, striking 6 students. 3 of them, Daniel Parmator, Russell King, and Demetrius Hewlin, died shortly thereafter. Lane's motives remain unclear, but his actions were undoubtedly devastating. The victims' families and the community at large struggled to come to terms with the senseless violence. Lane's trial was a highly emotional affair, with the victims' families demanding justice. Lane showed little remorse, wearing a t-shirt with the word killer emblazoned on it to his sentencing hearing. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Behind bars, Lane became a notorious figure, with many inmates viewing him with fear. He was initially housed at the Allen Correctional Institution, but was transferred to the Ohio State Penitentiary after a failed escape attempt in 2014. Lane's life in solitary confinement is a far cry from the chaos he unleashed that day. While some might see this as a fitting punishment, others argue that it's a necessary measure to ensure the safety of both Lane and his fellow inmates. While TJ rots in solitary, our next entry managed to secure a GED while serving life. Kipland Kinkle.
Another one?
On May 20th,
GD,
1998, a tragedy shook the small town of Springfield, Oregon. Kipland Kip Philip Kinkle, a 15-year-old freshman at Thurston High School, carried out a devastating massacre that would leave a lasting impact on the community. The events leading up to the massacre began when Kinkle was suspended from school after being found with a stolen handgun in his locker. His parents, William and Faith Kinkle, were notified, and his father took him home, warning him that he would be sent to military school if his behavior didn't improve. Later that day, Kinkle shot and killed his parents at their home. The next day, Kinkle arrived at school armed with a semi-automatic rifle and 2 handguns. In the cafeteria, he opened fire on his classmates, killing 2 students, Ben Walker and Michael Nicolausen, and injuring 25 others. He was eventually subdued by fellow students and arrested. Kinkle was sentenced to 111 years in prison without parole. Kip Kinkle, now 39, has spent the last 22 years trapped behind the cold walls of the Oregon State Correctional Institution in Salem. His life has been a never-ending cycle of solitude, confined to a tiny cell for 23 out of 24 hours a day. If you think this story is heartbreaking, wait till you see all the other names on our list. Michael Carneal. On December 1st, 1997, 14-year-old
Got them
Michael
glasses on.
Carneal opened fire on a group of students at Heath High School in West Paducah, Kentucky, killing 3 and injuring 5. Carneal was arrested and brought to trial, where he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Michael Carneal's life in prison has been a never-ending struggle for survival. As a child killer and school shooter, he's been a target for violence and abuse from fellow inmates. He's faced relentless physical assaults, beatings, and threats. The psychological torment has been equally unending, with constant harassment and intimidation. The prison environment is harsh, and word gets around quickly. He has spent years in solitary confinement, isolated from the general population for his own safety. But even that hasn't been a refuge. He's faced constant noise, darkness, and claustrophobia, with limited access to basic amenities. The isolation has taken a toll on his mental health, with reports of depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. After serving 25 years, Carneal requested parole, citing the violence and abuse he suffered in prison. The parole board denied his request, and Carneal was returned to prison to continue serving his life sentence. The only thing he has going for him is the fact that he is still alive. Most shooters killed themselves. Alex Hribal. Alex Hribal was a 16-year-old student at Franklin Regional High School in Murraysville, Pennsylvania, who carried out a mass stabbing attack on April 9, 2014. Armed with a pair of 8-inch kitchen knives, Hribal stabbed and slashed 20 students and a security guard, leaving 4 students with life-threatening injuries. Fortunately, all the victims survived. Hribal was arrested and charged with attempted homicide, aggravated assault, and other related offenses. In 2017, he pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 23.5 to 60 years in prison. His life is a far cry from the freedom and possibilities he once knew. Behind bars, Hribal's days are filled with the reality of his actions. He is surrounded by the cold walls of his cell, a constant reminder of the harm he inflicted on his classmates. Despite the gravity of his crime, Hribal is receiving the help he needs to address the underlying issues that led him down this path. He is engaged in regular counseling sessions and therapy groups, working to confront his depression, anxiety, and personality disorders. But rehabilitation comes with a price. Hribal's privileges are limited, and his every move is closely supervised by corrections officers. As the years pass, Hribal will have ample time to reflect on his actions and the lives he forever changed.
How do you stab 23 people or 20 people and only get 23 years? 23 to 40 years. The math ain't mathing. You know how many people he jugged? He jugged over 20 people. He should be doing life. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm stereotyping. I need to call my people, tell my little cousins, my niece, hey, if you in school and you see any kid with glasses, stay away from them. I'm labeling every kid with glasses. No, not just kid, adults too. If y'all wear glasses, I can't trust you. Can't trust none of y'all. If you wearing glasses, you need to take a look in the mirror and say, am I doing the right thing? I don't think you're doing the right thing. You got dark thoughts, and I don't trust you. I don't trust you. It's crazy, though, in this world that you can't even send your kids to school and expect them to make it home safe. Like, you just always gotta, I ain't saying expect the worst, but I don't know, you just can't be too lax, and you can't not expect nothing to happen, because something will happen when you don't expect it, if that makes sense. So it's like you always got to be on point, and it's not safe. It's not safe. You got some schools with security, some schools with police, but even they be failing. They fail doing their job, and because usually it's only 1 or 2 of them, and if a kid got the drop on them, they got the drop on them. Or adult, if you're going to shoot up the school, you already know, like, I got to take out the guard, or I got to take out the police. Schools are not safe. That's scary, man. That's scary in itself. And you got to watch yourself. You got to watch yourself from other students, strangers that might enter into the school. It's just not safe. Everybody should just homeschool their kids. It's a crazy situation. the two things I got out of this video is, one, don't trust nobody with glasses. And two, it's pointless to get a GED if you're doing life. I still don't get it. I do not get it. What is the point of getting a high school diploma, GED, college degree, anything like that, a certificate? What is the point if you're doing life? No, I don't want to see you do better in life. I want to see you do bad. I don't want to see you succeed. Do I sound like a hater? Yeah, I am. I'm a hater. Oh well. If you take that many lives, if you're taking lives, I don't want to see you do good. I don't want to see you progress. I do not believe in second chances. That's not a mistake. You don't mistakenly kill 30 people. You don't mistakenly shoot 6 people. You don't mistakenly stab 20 people. That's not a mistake. It's not a mistake. And I believe you can't get better, because no matter what age you did that at, you will always be rooted like that to me. You evil. You're evil. You're a demon. Oh well. Enough of this yap session, man. Y'all be cool how y'all be cool. Be safe. Stay away from everybody with glasses. To the next video. Peace.